Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today for round 14 of the season for the Italian Grand Prix. If you guys missed the last episode at Spa, you can go watch it by clicking the link in the top right hand corner of your screen to go see what happened in that race before we jump into any spoilers. But this weekend we are here at Monza, the Temple of Speed, and as you can see on screen, we have a massive amount of rain on the way on Sunday for the race, which is going to make things very interesting in terms of setup and strategy going into the weekend. But this weekend we do have only one out of the two upgrades on the car. Unfortunately for us, the engine power upgrade did fail, but it's not that bad because considering the race is in the wet, it's not going to be so much of a factor anymore. And with the crucial thing is we do have the ultimate chassis upgrade for the weight redistribution on the car, and that's going to mean pretty much us and Racing Point are going to draw almost level with Red Bull. And it's a three-way fight at the top with Alfa Romeo and P4 there, and Ferrari slipping down the ranks a little bit now as McLaren and also Renault gather some momentum. But we also have an ultimate aerodynamic upgrade on the way for the next race at Singapore as well, so hopefully we can add that failed engine upgrade onto the car for the next episode. And generally speaking, the car is improving a bit, and finally we're getting some good upgrades on, and we're starting to really establish ourselves as a top team in the sport. But you can see currently in the background here, practice was underway, and it was a pretty damn good session. We got purple in absolutely everything, including all the little mini objectives, and scored a maximum 335 out of 335 points. So a fantastic start to the weekend, getting maximum points, and hopefully we can try and carry that momentum and that positivity into qualifying as we move into Q1 for the first of the three-part sessions here today in this session. Beautiful sunny skies, no chance of rain today, whereas that is going to arrive tomorrow. And also the good thing about the rain being in the race is that we don't have to worry about tyres in this session, tyre wear, and also pushing on the in-lap or the out-lap. So we can just pretty much go for it, focus on what we're doing, and hope for the best. So it's going to be an exciting session, and I'm looking forward to it. And this is one of those tracks where those fine margins make all the difference. And it's all in the details around this circuit because it's such a quick lap with not that many corners. So you're really relying on engine power and that overall finesse in your driving skill. But we might suffer a little bit with engine issues, in terms of a lack of straight line speed, possibly because of the lack of the upgrade. It won't be a problem in the race, but it might be here. But currently you can see in Q1 we got down to business here, and sector 1 was good, purple first sector, and a good start to the lap. Sector 2 we lost a little bit of time, as I normally do through there, and we're now 4 tenths down on Perez, who's the current pace setter out front in the Racing Point, the new and improved Racing Point. And we get a very loose there on the exit of the Ascari chicane on the start of sector 3, but we're going to go down towards Parabolica here, looking at the 50-meter board as your reference, down to 5th gear, possibly 4th if you need it, and then quickly back on the power to get a good exit. And that is at a lap of Monza here. And let's see where we go in amongst the shuffle here as we cross the line, and we go P7, 4 tenths off, and actually set in a purple final sector. So overall, a decent lap, and that was actually good enough to get us into Q2, as Magnussen in the end set the pace with the 16.8, and we're in 10th place with a 17.4. So overall, 6 tenths off, and the AR quickest laps being a 16.8 is not bad. I think I can get near that on a good lap. So we jump into Q2, and this was my best lap in the session. So let's run on board to see what this lap is. As we go down towards turn 1, you're looking for the 100-meter board. You want to brake, if you could brake right on it, you'll be doing pretty damn well. I have to brake just before the 100, down towards turn 1. Really important to take a lot of curb on the inside of the first corner. The second corner, not so much. That curb tends to destabilize your car a bit, so try and avoid that if you can. Get a good exit, really important, and carry the speed through turn 3, through Curva as we now go into 4 and 5. A left-right chicane combination here. I believe the Variante Retofilio over the curbs, and you can use the exit curve a lot more than you might think. It's a little bit deceiving as we now go towards Lesmo, keeping it nice and tight through the first one, letting it run wide on the exit on all the curbing, and now into the second Lesmo again, chucking it in, tapping the inside curb and let the car run wide once again. Open up the DRS and use up all your overtake mode here on this back straight as we now go down towards the Ascari chicane. You want to try and turn in as the curve appears on the right hand side as a reference. Important not to cut the corner as we carry the speed all the way through as Perez takes a 16.0. What a lap. That's a massive lap from Perez. That's 8 tenths quicker than Q2. As we go down towards Parabolica here, you're going to brake at the 50 once again, down to 4th gear if you need it. We keep it in 5th this time round. Quickly back on the power and use up the rest of your ERS if you have some left over as we run up to the line, and that is going to be a lap at Monza. And we do set a 16.9, which is only a tenth off what Magnussen done in the last session, but the Racing Point have stepped up in Q2, and I went for another run to try and improve because I'm currently P11, and I was doing well as I 10th of a second up, but unfortunately into Ascari I cut the right hander a little bit and I got an invalidation there, so not ideal. And it's a shame because there was a bit of time there, hence why I tried to recommit and throw the car in, but it kind of backfired on me. And in the end, we finished 8/10 off the top, and the pace from Perez there, absolutely unreal. Even Giovinazzi as well, really strong lap from him. I did give him a tow along the back straight on my first run. I gave him a very nice slipstream, which definitely helped him out based off of the sector times, but yeah, the AI just stepped up massively. The quickest lap in Q1 was a 16.8. And that 16.8 was set by Albon in 13th place. So the AI just stepped up massively, and I couldn't match them, unfortunately. So yeah, it's a disappointing Q2 knockout, but it is what it is. We've now got a very, very wet race on our hands. Let's move into the race now for round number 14 of the season here at the Temple of Speed for the Italian Grand Prix.
The Italians love their cars, and they love their racing. And of course, they love it here at Monza. Home race for Ferrari, of course, who've had 18 wins here since 1950. But there's not been so much luck for the locals in the cockpit recently. The last Italian driver to win this race was back in 1966. So what now? I think it's time to make some more history here today. With the rain coming down here at the 3.6-mile Monza circuit, the low drag setups preferred by most teams could cause them some problems in today's Grand Prix. So watch out for cars struggling for grip around Parabolica, the last and most demanding of this track's 11 corners. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Martinez. No grip penalties, no mitigating circumstances, just a poor qualifying performance and a very disappointing start position for them today.
It's not a nice feeling, I promise you. They've got a quick car underneath them, but they've got onto the grid today and they need a pair of binoculars to see the start lights. They'll be desperate for a good start to make up for some of that deficit.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Russell, Pierre Gasly, and Verstappen, Sainz, Magnussen, Giovinazzi, and Valtteri Bottas, Albon, Martinez, Lando Norris, and Stroll, Hülkenberg, Kvyat, Kimi Raikkonen, and Daniel Ricciardo. Grosjean and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right, so here we are then on the grid for the Italian Grand Prix, starting all the way up in P12 actually, getting a few places gifted to me due to penalties to other drivers. So we are going to start on the 6th row alongside Toro Rosso and Giovinazzi. You can just see him up the road, I believe in 9th place. So overall, the target is simple, really. We need to try and again do damage limitation. There's a good chance we could lose the lead of the championship in this race if Verstappen wins and we struggle to make our way through the field. But in terms of strategy today, we are running the lowest possible fuel and rain expected throughout the entire Grand Prix. So pretty much we'll know straight away if we're competitive or not, because if I don't find no pace in the first 3 laps and I'm not quicker than anybody else, then it could be one of those races where we just don't really make much progress. So I'm hoping that we show good pace early on in the full wet conditions and the car's working well. So yeah, overall, it's going to be an interesting race. Hopefully it's in our favour and we can have a good little comeback through the field. But guys, that is it. We're now going to jump into the racing here for round number 14 for the Italian Grand Prix. Right, here we go then. It's a rare wet start as we're going to try and get a good launch here as the 5 red lights come on. Lights out and away we go. Good start off the line. We're going to match the Mercedes in front. We lose a bit of ground in the second phase, but that's okay. We're not really challenged here into turn 1. We're going to get on the brakes nice and early. Be nice and cautious here. There's no need to push the limits. Adjust the differential as well, just to make sure we unlock the rear tyres a bit and they don't spin up so much. Nice bit of traction there out of turn 2, and we're going to just about get the throttle down and we can stay in front and hold on to P12. We've got Albon here looking at Hamilton. We're going to use some rich mix here to try and make some moves happen early on. Into the brake zone, into turn 4. We're going to try and go around the outside of the Toro Rosso here. There's a bit of contact. Albon hits me a little bit, but we get past up to P11. There we go. Good move early on. It's actually Bottas in the Mercedes in front of us and Giovinazzi there in P9, so he hasn't made any progress just yet. A lot of spray being kicked up, so we've got to be careful. Visibility quite tricky here. We're going to make a bit more of an adjustment to the brake bar, smooth that down a bit more. But so far so good. Seems like initially we may have decent pace. There's a Ferrari pulling away out front already. And just trying to put some daylight between itself and the competitors. As long as Verstappen's not leading, I don't mind. You know, we can hopefully catch up to him. But the good thing about this race being a wet one is that there's no DRS, therefore slipstream trains and overall just the AR following each other should be less of a problem here. So it's going to be a bit more about, you know, pure racing, getting that good traction, those good exits and that kind of thing. So let's hope for a decent race as we get a pretty decent exit on the second half of Parabolica here, and we've given ourselves a bit of space to Albon behind. Can we get past Bottas? We are gaining on the Mercedes here. Does this Williams have enough juice on the straight to challenge into turn one?
The engine is going to be down slightly and showing some minor wear.
We're going to go around the outside of Bottas here, very deep on the brakes. We are going to go for it. Bottas gets held up on the braking by the car in front of Giovinazzi, and we make the move, bit of contact again there, midway through, but we get the job done, and we're up to P10 into the points. We just heard on the radio Jeff said about the engine, and we've probably got this race and one more with this power unit. The next one is Singapore preferably. The ICE is the component that's the most worn out, and it's the component that we're concerned about. But even still, it's still green, and we're still running a decent engine power. Like I said, the fact it's a wet race takes the emphasis off this race being so engine power related. So we should be okay in that regard. But at the minute, back to the racing here, we're starting to close in on Giovinazzi here, and we're starting to make some progress. There's an Alfa Romeo, I believe, in P2, and that's what's holding this train up. And then there's another little bit of a hold up with the Ferrari in P4. But whoever that Ferrari is in first place, he's pulling away quite a lot here. Oh, a big bit of oversteer there. Sebastian Vettel setting the pace. No DRS enabled on lap 3. Bottas pretty close to me here, but we've got good straight line speed and we're able to keep him behind, which is good to see for a change. Again, without DRS, it's a bit of a game changer. Both Red Bulls as well, they're right there, not too far away, so we're in this race. We've got a good chance, and I think we've got good pace as well, so I think we can improve. Dare I say, I think we've got a race-winning pace, so this is all going to come down to strategy. When you do your pit stop, go for an undercut or overcut, depends on your preference. Timing will be key.
15 minutes till we see this heavy rain ease up into light rain.
Okay, that's a bit of a game changer. So we could be on the inters actually. Even though on the monitor it said full rain the entire race, we have seen it before where even though we're in heavy rain, we do run the inters. So that could be a possible strategy loophole for us. Maybe go into the inters in our next stop possibly, and just try and go as long as we can on these wet tyres. Either way, we're putting pressure on Giovinazzi here. We're running at a good pace. It's just kind of tricky at the minute because of the slipstream. You know, we're lacking a bit on the straights, as we always do. Obviously, it's not as much in the wet conditions. You can just see it here. Giovinazzi just pulls away a little bit at the start of the straight. Even though he's harvesting energy, you can see his lights flashing. And we do catch him up on the second half of the straight, but we're just not close enough for a move on the brakes. I've got to try and improve my traction and acceleration a little bit. That wasn't too bad as Perez sets the pace in the Force India, should I say, the racing point. Still a second off that pace though, so we're not quite there yet. I think we've got good pace to maybe get into the top 5, but not to win the race. That's the way I see it at the minute. It's really kicking off in front now though. I'm seeing 3 wide at times into Parabolica. It's the Red Bulls getting stuck in with one of the Ferraris, I believe it's Charles Leclerc. I think they're 3 wide on the exit there with both Red Bulls and the Ferrari. Let's try and get stuck in here. Quite a bit of spray kicking up, which is a sign. You can see in front of us, it's not 5 wide, just about you can make it out. Might have a chance here. Let's just watch this in the distance. We're going to be extra cautious on the brakes, be very early. You can see here there's lots of action going on, lots of 2 wide, and we're going to try and set up a switchback out of turn 2. Good bit of traction there. We're going to get underneath Magnussen and follow Giovinazzi. It's going to be a drag race versus the racing point. We hold the inside line, which is where you want to be. Bit of contact there between myself and Magnussen. Magnussen going down the inside. We're going to look around the outside though. Got to be careful to keep my front wing intact, but we get past Kevin Magnussen. There we go. Nice move. And the battles are still continuing. That McLaren that Giovinazzi was battling has now hit the front of this little pack here. Side by side, the McLaren and the Red Bull.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Got that confirmed.
Okay, the team is saying intermediates on lap 9. That's noted. We'll bear that in mind. Because we've got Giovinazzi here as well, so we don't want to stack up if possible, if we can avoid it. These guys are going so slow. But we've got Russell right in front here. Let's try and get past the Red Bull if we can. And there's Verstappen. He's getting challenged by Giovinazzi. This is going to get ugly if we're not careful. Got to be cautious. I've got a chance to beat Verstappen here. He's just right there in front of us. Good exit from us there. Going to keep the pressure up. Got to be careful with Magnussen here. He might have a look at us on the straight. We know how quick that racing point is. We're gaining though. How brave are we on the brakes into turn 1? Quite brave, but Giovinazzi's quite good as well. So we'll have to just sit behind him for now. Unless we can get a good exit here, which we don't really. Well, that wasn't too bad. We're actually quite close, but now he starts to pull away. Got to keep an eye on the weather though. Strategy's going to be key. When do we go for the inters? This could get tasty because this is the lap we're meant to pit for inters. And I've got to try and beat Giovinazzi to the pit lane, but I can't find a way past at the minute. I'm struggling for traction, and that's where, you know, Giovinazzi's lacking a bit. Or sorry, that's where he's gaining a bit. You can see again now I've had a pretty poor Lesmo. Didn't quite get the traction down. That's given Giovinazzi just enough of a gap that I can't quite make up on the straight. So if Gio pits, we'll stay out for one more. I mean, the track still looks pretty wet, like good enough for wet tyres to me. So I'm not so convinced on that intermediate call just yet. We'll see who pits in and see how they perform. But at the minute, just Giovinazzi is struggling to hang on to the cars in front a little bit. He's just dropping off and he runs deep, and there we go, there's the invitation. Looks like no one's pitting though, so we are going to stay out for a little bit longer. Literally no one's pitting at all, so we're going to stay out on these tyres for now. We've got a bit of space now, a 1 second gap to Russell we can try and work in and try and catch up, possibly make a move. Giovinazzi's getting across it, so we're going to cut across. He's going to go back around the outside, but we're going to hold the inside line. Losing the back end slightly on the braking, but we'll get away with it. Pick up some nice clean traction if we can. Yes, we do. Right, up to 8th place. Russell, Sainz, Verstappen, all in front of us. I can smell it. Sainz and Verstappen side by side here. That's going to put Russell on the back foot. This is going to get ugly if we're not careful. We're starting to lock up the fronts quite a bit now, which is also a telltale sign the track could be drying up possibly. As we almost go into the back of George Russell there, we've lost all momentum, and that's given Giovinazzi the run here. We've got to try and hold the inside line. Gio will get boxed in. Down the inside of Parabolica. The Red Bull side by side, Giovinazzi on the outside there. Both teammates battling in this race. We get some good traction though, really good exit from us. We might have a chance here to get past Verstappen. We're going to pull to the right hand side, it's 3 wide. How much juice does this Williams have? Let's find out. We are on the inside line, Russell's coming across to protect it. On the brakes, trying to lock up here, keep it tidy. Russell's still there, so we've got to leave some space. There's contact behind, a bit more contact on my left rear. But we get past and pull off the overtake. And we're past both Red Bull cars. Now let's try and get after Sainz. We need to try and pull away now, very important to open up the gap.
The circuit's definitely looking better than it was a few minutes ago. If we just move a bit more of that standing water, we might be able to get onto the intermediates.
Yeah, it's definitely still full wets, but I won't blink just yet. I'm happy where I am. Personal best, 30.1. Decent pace. Perez running in the 29.7, so we're about 4 tenths off that. He's the leader and he's doing purple laps, so that's what we need to be aiming for. So let's try and pick up the pace a bit and try and find a bit more if we can. We are catching Sainz and we're pulling away from the cars behind who are still battling here, so this is working out quite nicely for us. We're now waiting for the right time, for the right stop. Another strong lap from us. 29.7, we matched the fast lap of the Grand Prix as Perez pits, as does Sebastian Vettel. Okay, interesting. Well, it might have been Alfa Romeo actually. Either way, this is interesting, because if we do go into the inters, it could be a game changer. If I stay out and go for the inters, that might be a way to go. I'm going to look at the tyre wear real quick. Could I get to the end on these tyres? It's possible. It is possible. So there could be a no-stop race if it stays on full wet tyres. So I think we're going to go for that. We're going to try and go to the end on this set of tyres and not stop at all to try and win the race. Or option B, with the inters, maybe that could be an option if the track dries up. But we're not stopping, I don't think, for another set of wets. We're going to try and roll the dice here and try and win this race because Verstappen is down the order. So we've got a chance here to re-establish our championship lead.
Heavy rain will pass in 5 minutes and will be replaced by light rain conditions.
There we go, even more reason to stay out now. Let's stay focused and do our thing. Let's try and go past Sainz in the meantime. Sainz pits along with the rest of the leaders. Magnussen as well. Purple final sector, and we take the lead. Right then, this is it. We're rolling the dice. We're going to stay out on these. Whether we go to the end on the wet tyres or we're coming for the inters, I'm not sure what happens, but we're staying out all the way in this race.
Antonio is in the pit. Antonio in the pits.
I want to win this, and the only way to win it is by gambling and rolling the dice. Perez fastest lap, 29.2. That's a little bit quicker than me, but that's fine. I do feel like the track has just dried up a little bit in the last couple of minutes or so. And I think maybe an intermediate could be a good tyre, but no one's pitting for the inters yet, so we'll stick with our plan.
I definitely think we need to stay on this tyre a bit longer, but there's no question that the track is drying. We might be in a position to change soon.
Interesting. The track does feel like it's drying. You can definitely see the rain's not as much, and the track's getting a lot more marks. It's not so shiny anymore, which is a sign it's starting to dry up, so keep an eye on it, but it is getting there. Like I said, we'll go to the end of the race if we need to on these. I'm going to take the risk. I'm willing to. Good luck from us there. I'm running the car on the wet parts of the racetrack, and it's working for us. Personal best. Cooling the tyres down is helping, and I can do better laps. Perez responds though 4 tenths quicker again. That's fine considering the tyre wear we have. Let's have a look, see what the tyres are at. There you go, 38 in the left rear. That's more than fine.
Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the ICE. Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
That's fine, I'm not concerned. Let's focus on the race win. Oops.
Okay, some information on signs. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
Okay, signs out. Will there be a VSC from that? Seems like there won't be, so we continue on our way as normal. The track is definitely drying out though, but it seems like no one's going for the inters.
Showing some wear. Most likely you'll be able to feel it.
Lap time's continuing to drop now into the 128s. I'm starting to struggle my tyres a little bit now, and the Perez is starting to gain a little bit more. He could potentially catch me before the end of the race if it stays like this. So we might have to get ready for a bit of defence, hence why I'm saving a bit of fuel in the RS at the minute. Because I feel like Perez might arrive. I really want these intermediates, so I'm kind of asking for the track to dry out now at this point. Good lap from us, good response. 29.2. I managed to charge up the fuel in the RS on that one to give it some, and it paid off. I think we are going to see this race out on this tyre. At this point, you know, is it even worth pitting unless the track really dries up?
Caution, caution. The virtual safety car is out. Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta. Drop your speed. Our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Okay, so Daniel Ricciardo out of the race in the Alfa Romeo in their home race. I was going to give us a chance to save a bit of fuel in the RS, get everything charged up again, and also cool the tyres off a little bit.
There's 4 laps of fuel remaining.
Let's get everything charged up and get everything up to temperature for the restart. Looks like we are going to see the race out on these tyres, so let's expect it. Important to get a good restart here to not fall into Perez's clutches. More importantly, that's what I'm a little bit worried about. We had a good restart in the last race in Spa. We'll try and do the same here today.
Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green.
There we go. A little bit safe. You know, I didn't risk it too much, but that's fine. There's Ricciardo.
Yellow flag.
Right, we've got full power. Let's give it everything. I wonder if I can nick a fast up at the Grand Prix. It'd be quite tricky, but I have full power, so it could be possible.
Green flag.
I'm on for a fastest lap here, maybe. We can have a strong end to the lap, which we do. This could be the one. Let's see what Perez does though. No, not quite 28.8. We don't quite achieve it. That's a shame, but Perez still gains some time on that lap, so back to the task in hand. Let's try and bring this one home. 3 laps to go. Looks like we are going to achieve a no-stop race, which is something I don't think I've ever done before. Oh, that's a big lock up. That's going to cost me some time. With 1.5 laps to go, that's going to put Perez right on the back of me here. He's really pushing now, and he hasn't got the fast out, but his pace is really, really strong. And I'm starting to struggle with my tyres now. I definitely think the intermediate's a faster tyre now at this point. Like, if he was on the intermediate, you'd probably be like 3 seconds, 4 seconds a lap quicker, without a doubt. But here's Perez, he's on the back of me now. No DRS, which is good, but that Racing Point is still very fast. Here he comes. We're going to have to defend for a lap and a half. Important to make no mistakes, no lockups, keep it tidy. That's my second corner cut of the race now, I believe. I got one earlier on at that exact same corner. Here comes Perez though. He's going to look around the outside of Parabolica. We've got to try and defend the inside. Locking up, but we get it slowed down just about. Perez will get the better traction on the fresher rubber, of course. Drag race down towards turn 1, last lap of the race. Here goes Perez again. To the outside. How late can we go on the brakes? We're actually holding our own here on the straight. I'm on the inside, not much room. Perez on the inside. Got to leave a space, bit of contact there. Perez comes into me a little bit. But we come out on top and we hold on. I think we'll be okay into the next brake zone. Got to watch my fuel. My fuel's going to the negative. Here comes Perez again. He's getting close, but not close enough. Let's not make a mistake here where we did last time, because I need to not pick up another cut or extension, otherwise we will have a penalty. Right, here we go. It's going to come down to the Parabolica. Perez will get the run. I'm sure of it. Here he comes. We're going to defend the inside one last time on the last lap of the race here. On the brakes. Nice and late. Holding the inside line. Try and get the power down now. There we go, up to the line. And we're going to do it. We're going to win the Italian Grand Prix without doing a single pit stop. Get in. What a race.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing. Well done.
It's been coming for a while, this one. What an excellent win for Williams. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
Williams have put in an incredible performance out on the track today. I'm glad all the hard work of theirs has finally paid off.
Right, so here we have the final race results then, and we win at Monza without producing a single pit stop, and it was the right call to make. We took the gamble and it paid off. We just beat Perez by a tenth of a second to the victory. Gasly P3 in the Alfa Romeo. I was dreaming of seeing that one day in the Williams, but fair play to him. He had a bit of bad luck at Williams, and I'm happy to see him get on the podium. Vettel P4, Leclerc P5, Magnussen P6 picking up the fast up of the Grand Prix here today. And then we've got Verstappen 7th, Russell in 8th. So the Red Bulls having a bit of a horror show and struggling for pace here today, with Albon 9th and Raikkonen rounding out the top 10, with Hulkenberg, Fiat, Giovinazzi, Bottas, Hamilton, Stroll, Norris and Grosjean missing out the points, along with Ricciardo and Sainz, who retired here today. In terms of what that means for the driver standings, we extend our gap to 26 points on Verstappen as the European season ends and we go to Singapore next time out. And overall it's looking pretty comfortable. In terms of the constructors, we're in third place, only 3 points behind Racing Point. So we're breathing down the neck, and we're 41 points behind Red Bull. We actually gained a little bit on the Red Bulls in this race, as do Racing Point as well, as Alfa Romeo overtake McLaren. But guys, that is it for the race here today, and one of the classics here at Monza. And overall, I'm so happy. But we're now going to move into the laptop and put on that failed engine upgrade that we should have had for this race, for the next race in Singapore. So let's jump into the laptop and let's upgrade the Williams.
Things are looking up after last week, aren't they? You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you? Do you think that your close rivalry has helped you out this season? Did you feel comfortable in the wet weather today? Appreciate your time.
Right, so here we are then on the R&D tree, and you can see on screen at the moment we do have an ultimate aerodynamic upgrade on the way for the next race in Singapore, and we're going to add to that by improving the engine power, and we're going to buy the upgrade that failed, that should have arrived this race, and that will arrive in the next one in Singapore, and that will unlock these huge engine upgrades. Hopefully we can get 1 or 2 of them on before the end of the season, but we still have 1,300 points to spend, and looking at upgrades elsewhere, looking at different options, you know, we've got 2 remaining on the chassis, and we've got 1 left on the aerodynamics. And I'm kind of weighing it up as to what I want to go for, to be honest, because I'm trying to run the numbers real quick, and I'm guesstimating. I mean, this one's 1,200 points. Can we afford it? No, we can't. We're not allowed to buy it yet. So I'm debating whether to just wait and keep the points we have, or do we invest them? And I just want to check the engine real quick, because I want to see. I might get this ICE upgrade, because the ICE is a little bit close to getting worn out, and I might consider it. So that could be an option, but you know what, I think overall I'm not quite sure where I want to spend it, so we're just going to keep the points for now, and we'll invest them if necessary in the next episode. But guys, that is going to be it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy it, then drop a big fat like on the video, and also get subscribed if you are new, guys. And also, just a reminder, GT Omega, guys, one of the channel sponsors, are having a Black Friday sale where there's 40% off certain items, and you can get an extra 5% off by using the code TOP97 at checkout. So all in all, up to 45% off on certain products, guys. So go check it out by clicking the link down below in the description, and that would also help me out directly in terms of my channel. But yeah, guys, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next episode very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.